In this video, we are going to discuss as a continuation to analyzing about the function f of z is equal to z square and its nature. We can just make it into four parts. In the first part, what we are going to do is think about a circle with center at the origin and radius r, and applying the function f of z is equal to z square on the set of all points on the circle and see what the image will become. Okay, so we know that a circle with radius r and center at the origin is given as an equation x square plus y square is equal to r square in the normal form, and in the parametric representation we write it as z is equal to r e raised to I theta in the complex plane. Here by De Moivre's equation we had proved it that the exponential function in complex plane behaves like this: e raised to I theta is equal to cos theta plus I sin theta. So z can be written as r cos theta plus I into r sin theta, and henceforth x square plus y square, when substituted with x is substituted with r cos theta and y is substituted with r sin theta, we know that x square plus y square is equal to r square. So both of them are satisfying with each other. So we are having the set of all points which lie on this circle with center 0 and radius r. Okay, and we are going to apply our function f of z is equal to z square. Let's see what happens. So f of z is equal to z square. Here we can instead of z we can replace it with r e raised to I theta. So f of r e raised to I theta is equal to r e raised to I theta the whole square, and that is nothing but r square into e raised to I theta the whole square, which is r square into e raised to 2 into I theta. These are all properties of the exponential function. And e raised to I into 2 theta, by the equation we mentioned earlier, we know that that is equal to cos 2 theta plus I sin 2 theta. So this is what we obtained when we calculated the map f of f, f being applied on z. So suppose if this is also definitely a complex number, suppose we are writing f of z is equal to u plus iv, we know that u is equal to here r square cos 2 theta and v is equal to r square sin 2 theta. So we are thinking about, just for our curiosity, we are finding u square plus v square, and when we are finding it and substituting for u r square cos 2 theta and v r square sin 2 theta, and we are ending up as r raised to 4, which is nothing but r square the whole square. So with this equation, which is u square plus v square is equal to r square the whole square, is the equation of a circle in the w plane with radius r and the center as origin. So hope you understood what we had started and what we ended up with. Okay, for understanding it further, just treat it as an illustration. Suppose we are having r is equal to 2. So you can see the two planes here. This is the set plane and w plane. Okay, so you are having the having the circle with center at the origin and radius 2. So we know that that is nothing but the equation here, we can say that is nothing but x square plus y square is equal to 2 square. That is the equation, or we can write it as z is equal to 2 e raised to I theta. These are both the forms. And when we are applying, instead of r, we are assuming that the radius is 2 here. and then we are applying the function f of z is equal to z square on the set of all the points on the circle. Okay, and we are going to map the image in the w plane. So when we map the image, what we are getting is x square plus y square is equal to 2 square the whole square, or that is equal to 16. Okay, or here the radius is 4, so or this image set of all points of the image set can be written as z is equal to 4 e raised to I theta. So this is what happens when the function f of z is equal to z square is being applied to the set of all points on this circle. So hope you have a better picture now. So here we conclude that the circle of radius r about the origin is mapped to the circle of radius r square about the origin using the map f of z is equal to z square. That is the conclusion we get here. Now for our part 2, consider a sector of a circle with radius r and center as the origin, such that the argument is happening in between alpha and beta. Okay, and we are denoting the sector as S of alpha comma beta, where it is the set of points in the circle such that the argument of those points are lying in between alpha and beta. Definitely alpha is strictly less than beta. And what we are going to do is we are going to apply our function f of z is equal to z square on the set of points on this sector. Okay, that is our domain. So when we apply, what is going to happen? F of z is equal to z square. We know that this set is happening inside this S of alpha comma beta. So that is r e raised to I theta the whole square, which is r square into e raised to I into 2 theta. Here theta, the theta happening here was alpha strictly less than theta less than beta. Here the complex number is having the argument 2 theta, and that 2 theta will lie in between 2 alpha and 2 beta strictly. So to give it a picture wise analysis, see, suppose this is S of alpha comma beta. So you can clearly see what are the arguments. See, the argument is calculated from the positive real axis towards the line joining that point to the origin. So the first point is alpha. The first point is this, and that is having the argument alpha, and the second point is uh, the point here, and it is having the uh, argument beta. So we'll draw the x of alpha beta, and then we are applying the function f of z is equal to z square, and you can see the picture, and that says that is equal to S of 2 alpha comma 2 beta, and in the picture you can clearly see it. You have the 2 alpha here, which is the angle here, and the 2 beta is also here. Okay, and the radius here, it was r, and the radius here will be r square. Okay, so that is the mapping which is done by f of z is equal to z square from the set plane to the w plane, where the domain is a sector of a circle. Okay, so there we are concluding that the image is also a sector of the circle with center as the origin and radius r square, and it is by our notation we can call it S of 2 alpha comma 2 beta. Note that here the radius is r square. Okay, now is we are getting into part 3, which is also something connected to part 2 and the sector. When will a function f of z is equal to z square be 1 in the domain S of alpha beta? Suppose we are having the domain S of alpha comma beta. How can, or what is the condition when the function can be 1 1. So for that, simply let's take f of z is equal to f of z2. That is z1 square is equal to z2 square. Let z1 is equal to r1 e raised to I theta 1, z2 is equal to r2 e raised to I theta 2, suppose. So squaring it, you're getting like this. Bring this term to the left side, that will give you a minus, and this is nothing but a square minus b square form. So you can write it as a plus b into a minus b. And definitely you know that the first term sitting here can never be 0 because r1 and r2 are radius, and they are strictly greater than 0, and the exponential function can never be 0. So this term is purely non non-zero, that we know that. So this term has to be 0. Okay, so that means r1 e raised to I theta 1 is equal to r2 e raised to I theta 2. And also we are ending up with, when we are seeing the polar representation here, right? So this r1 has to be equal to r2. So r1 is equal to r2, let's call it some r. Okay, that is some observation we get from there. And I'm going to claim that this beta and alpha, which was what was beta and alpha? That was, we know that the arguments are lying strictly in between alpha and beta. Alpha strictly less than, theta strictly less than beta for every complex number inside the sector. So this is our claim. So we are assuming that this is not. That means we are having the difference to be more than pi, which is 180 degree. So suppose if we are just as a pictorial representation, let's see a figure. So this is alpha, okay. This is the first point, and this is the second point, and this is beta. Okay, this small angle is alpha, and this is beta. So obviously beta minus alpha is greater than 180 degree. You can see it from here. And the next thing what we are going to do is map it, this domain, with f of z is equal to z square function. Okay, when we do that, first we have to increase the radius to square. If this is uh, if this happens to be r, the thing happening here is r square. Yes. And we have to double the angles. First we are doubling alpha, that is here it will be 2 alpha here, and then this much, will be 2 alpha. Okay, doubling, and then we are going to double beta. Already beta is an obtuse angle, you can see that. And what, when we are going to double it, you can see from here. Okay, we are starting from here, and the beta was here. Okay, and we are going to double the same, and when we double it, it goes like this. And suppose if this is our beta up till here. Okay, this is the y-axis, that means the imaginary axis. Okay, so here you can see that this is the imaginary axis, Im of z, and this is the beta. Okay, so it started from here and here and ended up here. So what happened is our 2 alpha was here. Okay, so we started from here, this line, and then we moved like this, and then we moved. Already all the portions here are covered, and it was moving like this and moving like this and moving like this, and then it is going again through this part. Okay, and ending up here. Okay, that is a sector we are going to get as an image here. Okay, this image has no problem, but it is not 1 1. Where? In this portion, because already all these images, all the points here were taken when we mapped, and then again these points are taken by the map. That means the points here in this section, the points in this section are being mapped twice. That is not possible for a map which is 1 1. So what is the only possibility? Such kind of angles are not possible. That means it should not cover again. So that means this beta minus alpha, the difference should be strictly less than 180 degree. Then only that will happen. Hope you got the point. Please try to picturize this yourself and find convinced about this claim. Okay. So already we know that alpha strictly less than theta 1 strictly less than beta and alpha strictly less than theta 2 strictly less than beta, because we took z1 and z2 happening from s of alpha comma beta, right? So consider the difference of theta 1 minus theta 2. Okay. So the maximum value theta 1 and theta 2 can take, or theta 1 can take, is beta, and the minimum value theta 2 can take is alpha. So the maximum value of this difference will be beta minus alpha. Theta 1 minus theta 2 will be strictly less than beta minus alpha. So from this we conclude that theta 1 minus theta 2 is strictly less than beta minus alpha, and for our function to be 1 1, the difference should be strictly less than pi. So thus we analyze the function f of z is equal to z square, and the mapping properties of other functions can be studied using the same information. We are going to end up with part 4, which is our end note, and that is a question for us to ponder upon. Think that we are given two open and connected sets G and omega. Our question is, will there always exist an analytic function f with domain G such that f of G is equal to omega? So this is an interesting question, and suppose if there is a solution, we can have a solution as we move on. That is an extremely useful thing, and let's see whether we can have a solution for this question. And you can just ponder upon it, what is the question is and how can we have a solution, or how can we not have a solution. So that is all for today. Thank you for watching and being with the lecture. So thank you again.